1 month away. It's the college football season. Who are the off-season champs? Well, we all know Anthony Totri's won, but who's 2 through 5? We'll answer next.
Happy Monday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the one, the only Strawberry Swirl Girl, of course, Erik Ruby. We got intern Seth behind the Mac, also with his sous chef today, the Deli Man, making the magic happen. Do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Is that your father in the chat
Yes.
today? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Based off of the YouTube ad, I was like, Street Addict 1.
The ad
huh?
is yes, big conversation over on PHNX Suns. It's Wall Street Addict.
Wall Street
But
Addict.
he
Okay.
conveniently left out the wall.
Are we sure?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said.
You never know.
I need to see him and get his phone
Yeah.
and
Change the
his
YouTube
ad.
ad?
Yes.
Are you just going to add Wall Street to it?
No.
No.
We're changing it to something completely different.
Something completely different
Yeah,
than
we're going to
Street
change it
Addict
to my
1.
Venmo. We say Venmo at Erik-Ruby.
Oh, my goodness. Well, look, we appreciate everybody hopping in or listening on audio after the fact to kick off their week. Like Rubus said in the cold open, less than, I guess, a month or about a month and change until college football actually rolls around, depending on when week 0 actually falls on. So the offseason feels like it is pretty much over. Obviously, the main additions for a lot of these teams are in the books, and fall camp is going to be getting started for a lot of these Division I programs in the next week or so. So what better time than now to discuss the 5 teams nationally that had the best off seasons. Now, Erik, a couple different things went into consideration when evaluating these 5 programs, including recruits that they were able to add in the class of 2025, in major transfer portal additions for these teams, and then retention. Retention was another big point that I think certainly boosted where some of these teams ultimately fell in the top 5. Again, there are only 5 teams that were really worthy of discussing. I think you could make some points, be like, okay, well, this team was 6, this team was 7. You could do an entire thing, and there are going to be some teams that are left out at the end of the day.
Yes. Get angry at us. But at Anthony_Totri speaks for both of us.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Well, let's kick it off with the team coming in at number 5 in our top off seasons, and that is the Oklahoma Sooners. A couple of big names that they were able to retain. Troy Everett along that offensive line, who is a big body offensive lineman. I believe he started for Oklahoma last season. This is also a team that brought in, retained a wide receiver in Dion Brooks. Not the biggest wide receiver in the world, 5'9", about $190, but still had 3 touchdowns last season. You really look back to what he did in 2023, where he had his best season, 7 touchdowns, 629 receiving yards, 47 receptions. So a solid year for him. And then the big ones, the transfer portal additions for Oklahoma. Washington State's former quarterback, John Mateer, Jade Knott, running back from Cal, and then an edge rusher in Marvin Jones Jr. from Florida State. Out of those 3 additions for Oklahoma, which one would you say is going to have the biggest impact for the Sooners in 2025?
It's hard not to say Mateer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's the quarterback, and he's a very good dual threat quarterback. I'm very high on Mateer in general. I know some people think that maybe the Washington State numbers were a little Candyland action, not that great. Shane being one of those guys.
Shane's
I'm just gonna start putting words in Shane's mouth when he can't speak.
It's not the it's not that I think their like opponents were Candyland. It's just the offense there favors passing yards and numbers. Like you look at Mateer's stats, and one thing that is inflated is not only the passing yardage but also the passing attempts. The one thing I will give him that isn't typical of a Washington State quarterback, like he's not going to turn into a Ryan Lobestall or any of the other hundreds of quarterbacks that have starred there, is his legs.
Yeah.
But
he's a really good dual threat quarterback.
But the passing numbers, we can go ahead and take a beat because he's not throwing for 4,000 yards in the SEC.
No, I don't think he will.
But I don't think he has to.
No, I think that's why they built this offense, I think, to be a run-first offense now at Oklahoma.
Well, and Jordyn is maybe out of all the names we'll talk about today, maybe like the least discussed, highest impact guy. As far as I feel like nobody's talking about Jordyn going to Oklahoma.
Jordyn would have. He may have been the best transfer portal running back in this transfer portal class.
And I don't feel like people are talking about him at all.
No, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he went to Oklahoma, right? He didn't go to
Oklahoma's a small program.
No, it's not, but they haven't been on top of college football.
Yeah, and they didn't have a great season last year.
Yeah, so this is a team, again, in adding Mateer, who did throw for about 3,100 yards last season, 29 touchdowns to 7 INTs. You brought up the fact that he's a dual threat guy. Rushed for 826 yards, also 15 touchdowns on the ground. He can find the end zone. We'll see if it translates to the SEC. We know some of the defenses in that conference. And then you bring up the running back in Jordyn, who last season didn't have the greatest year of his career at Cal. Only averaged 3.3 yards per tote, 385 yards on 116 carries. Cal wasn't good last year. You got to look back to what he did in 2023, where he had 1,300 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns, also had 196 receiving yards. And even before that in 2022, nearly had 1,000 rushing yards as well. Like, he's a good running back.
Yeah, and both of those guys are going to be surrounded by much better talent than they were at their last stops.
100%.
Right? Like, offensive line's going to be better. The wide receivers are going to be better. The rest of the running back room is going to be better. And are they going to play better competition? Absolutely. But for skill position players like that, if you're put in a situation where your offensive line isn't great, or your coaches aren't great, or your quarterback's not great, and it's like, okay, well, maybe like for a Jordyn, like, why didn't you have a good season last year? It's like, okay, well, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to be like a Heisman guy, right? But I think he's going to be a really good running back, and I think a dual threat running game of him and Mateer, with the way that Mateer can air out the ball, I really just do think that is going to be a very, very potent offense for sure. And we'll see what their defense does with adding Marvin Jones Jr. from Florida State.
6'5", 262-pound edge rusher. Like, he's a big dude. Again, Florida State didn't have the greatest season in the world. He did have 4 sacks on a pretty bad defense last year. So just another big addition to a team in the SEC in Oklahoma that, I mean, I feel like it really, really bolstered what they're hoping to do now. And again, part of what goes into having a really good offseason is being able to bring in really, really talented recruits. And that's something that Oklahoma was able to do as well. They beefed up the trenches for the future. I mean, you look at their pretty much the pride and joy of their recruiting class was a 5-star offensive lineman. I believe the #1 offensive tackle in the country in the class of 2025, in Michael Fasusi. Fasusi. These last names, man, they kill me sometimes.
Bless you.
6'5", 309 pounds. He's a big dude.
That is huge.
Especially for somebody who's going to be a freshman at the college level.
We'll see. 18 years old right now.
Yeah, we'll see if he ends up playing this year. But being able to get a 5-star offensive lineman, literally the best of the best when it comes to the offensive line, I think is huge. And they doubled down on that. They got another high 4-star offensive lineman, Ryan Foje, 6'5", 322 pounds. So another just absolute behemoth in the trenches. Like, they are building that offensive line, which is what they need to do in the SEC.
Yeah, you have to, right? And you got to have the big boys as well to go up against SEC style defenses and to protect quarterbacks like Mateer, running backs like Ott. I'm intrigued by Oklahoma. I don't know if they're going to be like dangerously good in the SEC, but I think they're going to be a lot better, at least record-wise, than they were last year.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm very interested to see what the SEC looks like this year. I know there are a lot of people really, really high on Texas. I think rightfully so when you look at who they were able to retain, when you look at the fact that a guy like Arch Manning is now taking over at quarterback for Quinn Ewers. Mm-hmm. But Georgia's still there, right? They added
Sure.
some pieces. Bama's still there. Like, Ole Miss is still there.
LSU still there.
South Carolina, like some teams that we may discuss a little bit later on during today's show. So something to keep in mind, guys. Let us know what you think of Oklahoma coming in at number 5 for our, I guess I say our, for the offseason rankings.
Right, it's you. If it's right, it's us. If it's wrong, it's
there
you.
Go.
That's all. That's always been the rule with this show.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. So who's coming in at number 4 on our list? We will tell you on the other side of our first break.
You know, it sounds weird every time I say, oh, well, you could be lazy with APS, right? But honestly, it's a great selling
It's a good
point.
thing.
Sure, you can get your smart thermostat if you're an APS customer for maybe as low as $0 right now. Yes, you can enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program, but save yourself some energy yourself, not in your apartment, with a smart thermostat, because you can adjust the temperature in your home from anywhere at any time, just from any device. And a smart thermostat works with your APS rate plan to help you automatically adjust the temperature in your home. I was going to bed last night. Remembered I forgot to turn the AC down. I needed to be a little cooler, right? And listen, I had a cat laying on me, and I was like, this is a special moment.
Didn't want to disturb the
I got to turn the AC down, but I can't get up, and I was able to do that with my smart thermostat. And right now, APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. And if you already have a smart thermostat at home like myself, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards, plus free installs available at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer, pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the perfect time to book your staycation over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, your one-stop shop for sports action. Of course, the BetMGM Sportsbooks at Gila River Resorts Casinos, they offer a huge selection of games on the big screens, not to mention you're getting food, drinks, all while you can place your bets. Of course, you're in the midst of baseball season, just fresh off a great UFC card. But don't worry, there's always sports going on. Go win some money over at Wild Horse Pass or any of the Gila River Resorts and Casinos locations. And maybe you're not a big gambler. Maybe you just want to lay out by the pool, enjoy a nice steak dinner. Well, you could do that too. It's the perfect place for everybody. Something you got to remember is you do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Make sure you visit playatgila.com for more details. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We're diving straight in to the team that comes in at number 4 on our list of teams that had the best college football offseason. And we're heading to the ACC, Erik, where we are going to be talking about the Clemson Tigers. Dabo Swinney's squad put together one hell of an offseason, to be frank.
Yeah, they did. And I feel like this is a team that, like, before we get into the specifics, I feel like the national conversations around Clemson have been very, very high.
Yeah.
Very, very high. And I get it. And especially around, you know, like their quarterback, as we get into specifics here, like retaining Cade Klubnik. Some people think he's the best quarterback in college football.
Yeah.
Right? And I think actually a lot of people feel that way. Now, obviously, we like Sam Leavitt here, but I think that he is certainly in that conversation. And anytime that you can retain a quarterback that's in that conversation, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You look what Cade did last year, right? Nearly 3,700 passing yards, 36 passing touchdowns to 6 INTs. He played in the college football playoff. Like, this is a guy in Cade Klubnik that I think is, he reminds a lot of Clemson fans, I think, of Trevor Lawrence, just the potential of what he can do. So being able to retain him and not lose him to an SEC school or a Big Ten school, I think was huge for Dabo. Not to mention, you're able to retain 2 key pieces in the front 7, TJ Parker on that D-line, Peter Woods also on that D-line. TJ Parker is going to be a first-round pick. He's likely going to be a top 10 pick in next year's draft when it's all said and done. But this is a team that, when it comes to adding in the transfer portal, I believe only added 3 players from the transfer portal. They did not have the...
Is that a record for Dabo?
They did not have the greatest incoming transfer portal class by any means. But in terms of retaining the pieces that they did and recruiting the pieces that they did, I think really, really play a heavy role for Dabo's squad being at number 4 on this list. Some of the pieces that they did add, Jeremiah Alexander transferred over from Alabama to Clemson. You know, kind of that rivalry that those two schools have. Now, Alexander didn't play a ton at Bama, but I'm interested to see how
it's a project.
In here.
Yeah, I think this is like a, hey, come over here. We'll let you run loose. We'll let you run free. But the next guy, he played a lot.
He did.
At Purdue.
He
was
will
a
help.
beast.
Yeah, he's an edge, or I guess was an edge at Purdue. Now coming off the edge for the Clemson Tigers. Again, adding to TJ Parker and Peter Woods. That front seven is going to be scary. He had 5 sacks last year. He's an absolute just massive man, 6'6", 265 pounds. Purdue, I mean, has lost most of their defense from last year, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But will help with Peter Woods, TJ Parker. That D-line is going to be scary this season. And part of what Dabo does well is he recruits really, really well for the future in those recruiting classes. So the D-line is taken care of now and is taken care of in the future. Adding Amari Adams to that D-line. This is somebody that, again, 6'4", 285 pounds. They have a type when it comes to their defensive lineman. A 5-star. He is I believe, the number 2 defensive lineman by 24/7 Sports in the class of 2025. So that's a big piece. The opposite end in the trenches, they're massive, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like Clemson, they've played a lot of SEC teams in the past in big time games. They understand what it takes to win at a high level. Braden Jacobs, an offensive tackle, 6'7", 320 pounds. He's an absolute giant. I don't know off the top of my head that I think he might be the son of Brandon Jacobs, the former New York Giants running back. I think, big, absolute, 6'7", 320 pounds. He makes Brandon Jacobs look tiny. This is a big kid, an absolute monster of a man. So that is something.
Have you seen the picture of them training together?
That's crazy. That's got to be edited, bro.
No, that's them.
That's crazy. That's the size difference is crazy.
Yeah.
I'll get it up here.
That is absolutely insane. So you've got some beef in the trenches, and then the backfield, Gideon Davidson, great name for a running back, a high 4-star.
Giddy on up?
Yeah. 5'11", $185. Adding him to a Clemson offense, down the line that I think is going to be pretty fun. Big production for this kid last year. The high school level, 1,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, averaged 11 yards per carry as a freshman. Like this guy,
he's
so
a special
funny player.
A literal first down per carry.
Literally, like more than that. Like,
and then some.
Yeah. So Clemson, I think, is going to be a team to watch on a national basis. I don't know how many people are talking about them outside of the fact that they have a guy in Cade Klubnik, but that defense, I think, is going to get back to what is the bread and butter for Clemson. If you remember these Tigers teams from years past, yes, they had some dudes on offense, but defensively, it felt like they were really, really good. I think this front seven for the Tigers is going to be what ultimately wins them the ACC this season.
Yeah, same thing with ASU, right? Sam Leavitt can be a great quarterback, but if your defense isn't absolute lockdown, then you're not doing anything.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right on that. Wow.
Thank you.
I can't speak today.
I appreciate
to be honest
you saying
with
I was 100% right.
Let's see. Glenn in the chat saying Clemson just got to dodge Miami and SMU. Right. Yeah. This is a conference that is, I mean, I think we agree is the worst of the Power Four.
It's pretty weak. I mean, what they had 2 playoff teams last year, more than the Big 12.
Yeah, they had SMU and they had Clemson.
They both lost.
They did both lose. So.
I guess Clemson won a game.
Yeah, which is important. It's an important context.
Oh, wait,
they lost.
Texas beat them. Yeah, Texas beat them.
Lost. We watched that game. We literally did a post game.
No, I know. I remember doing a post game for that. Because whoever won that was going to play ASU.
I think the ACC is going to be decent this year in the top teams again. Like Miami is going to be, I think, an interesting team to watch. I think they're going to get worse.
You're a huge
Carson Beck guy. I'm not. I think they got.
They're
worse.
number 1 on the list for you solely because of Carson Beck.
He got worse. They got worse as a team, losing all the guys they did. I think SMU is going to be a fun team again.
Be interesting.
There were a lot. I think Illinois was a team that that fan base was super, super upset that they had lost commits to SMU. But here you go. This is Brandon Jacobs' son.
I mean, come on.
Braden Jacobs,
what are we doing?
Who is an offensive line commit to Clemson. He's a giant. And Brandon Jacobs was a giant in the NFL.
Huge.
Yeah.
He's huge.
That is that kid's going to be a problem for the Clemson
6'4",
Tigers.
264. That's Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah, and he's small.
6'4", 264.
Small compared to his son, man. It's definitely
insane.
a sight.
264 would dwarf you, Shane.
He would. He would absolutely.
Yeah, let's get the headset on for this
6'7", 200 and come on,
Mom.
come on, Shane, come on. If you're listening on audio, now is the time to tap into the live where Shane's just flexing behind us about how he's not smaller than Braden Jacobs. He's not going to dwarf him. But moving on from the ACC to the Big 12, where you're going to find the team that comes in at number 3 on our list. That is a team that spent big this offseason, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Ruby, we've heard all about it all offseason long from Big 12 fans.
We have.
This is the team.
I mean, this is money-wise.
Yeah.
Money-wise, this should be number 1.
Yeah, money-wise.
Because the amount that they have spent on their roster and their transfer portal additions is astronomical.
It's gross.
It's astronomical. Hey, listen, go all in. I support going all in. Right? Now, will it work out? Who knows? But I think that when you start looking at some of the players that they've added, some of the players that they've retained, and how much money they've invested in this team, there's no excuse for Texas Tech to not be competing for and in the Big 12 championship this year. If you're like in Lubbock, you're like, yeah, I expect this team to be in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, this team certainly needs to be in the thick of the race to be in the Big 12 championship and a college football playoff team with the way that they spent this offseason. But again, being able to retain guys, I think, is key in this day and age of college football. You look at them being able to keep their quarterback. And beyond that, keeping key pieces like a guy like Coy Eakin,
who's a good wide receiver.
Who's a really talented wide receiver for them as well.
Is he the most underrated wide receiver in the Big 12? Because you see all these like lists are like best wide receivers in the Big 12, and you look at a couple like additions and people transferring in, and I think rightfully so. Jordyn Tyson is the top of that list for most people, right? You haven't heard a lot of people talk about Coy Eakin.
No, they haven't, but I think it's because that wide receiver room has a lot of guys, right? They got a guy, Micah Hudson too. Who had left for A&M and then came back. So, between Eakin, I believe they were able to retain another one of their wide receivers. On top of the fact that they kept their quarterback, who had a hell of a year last year, airing it out. And then on the defense side of the ball, Ben Roberts, who last year again 38 solo tackles. He 84 total tackles and 3 forced fumbles. The year before that, he had 105 total tackles. He is an absolute tackling machine. On that defense. And then you, again, look at some of the guys that they were able to add from the transfer portal. Like, they added key starters. This is not a team that went and added depth pieces. They added starters. Personally, my favorite addition is Cash Cleveland, who started at center last year for Colorado. Was, I believe, an all-conference freshman player. He is a really, really talented center, and he's young. He's got a lot of eligibility left for that Texas Tech offensive line. Quentin Joyner at USC to Texas Tech. I think that's going to be a fun addition. Definitely a different running back style than Taj Brooks last year. This guy is more of a burner than he is just like a brute run through you type of guy like Taj. And then David Bailey, edge rusher from Stanford, maybe one of the best additions in the transfer portal for a Big 12 team this offseason. David Bailey should be a guy that is slowly but surely working his way up the draft board in Lubbock. And then again, in terms of being able to get guys for the future and look at some of those recruits, you add a guy in wide receiver Tristan Gentry, an interior offensive lineman, and Elias Gillen, and then your quarterback potentially of the future from Texas and Lloyd Jones III.
Yeah.
Looking at all of these guys, or maybe there's somebody not on the list there specifically, who do you think is going to make the biggest difference for Texas Tech this season?
I mean, I think you always have to start with the quarterback, right? And I know that's kind of like a cop-out, but if Baron Morton can be a top 3, top 5 quarterback in the Big 12, which he has not been talked about.
No, he hasn't.
No, like he's not.
Do you think he is?
I think
let's have that conversation.
I think the margins are super slim when it comes to the quarterbacks. Besides, I think Sam Leavitt right now to me is clearly 1. And then I think 2 through even 8. At this point is so damn close. Like, we'll just throw names out there like Sawyer Robertson, Rocco Becht, Josh Hoover, right? I think you can throw Baron Morton in there.
See, I don't think Morton's in that conversation.
Avery Johnson. Like, where do you... Brendan Sorsby. I know some people are really high on Noah Fafita. Some people are really high on Jalen Daniels.
I think I'd rather have Brendan Sorsby than Baron Morton. Maybe that's a hot take, but I think I personally would rather have.
I don't hate that take.
Like I think Morton is more a product of his offense.
Sure.
Like you look at this offense last year was putting up 50 burgers left and right. Now they weren't the greatest team in the world because their defense was just like 11 traffic cones out there.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what this offense looks like again. Like when we talk about how there are no excuses for Texas Tech as a team, there are no excuses for Morton not to have a better year than he did last year because there are more pieces around him.
Sure.
There are new pieces around him, which the standard is really high. He threw for 3,300 yards last year, 27 touchdowns.
3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he's not, what, a top half quarterback?
Well, no, because he threw the ball nearly 500 times.
He's probably
last
what?
year.
He's probably 7 or 8?
He's not, no.
Who's better? Is it him or Fafita?
Sam Leavitt, Josh Hoover, Rocco Becht, Sawyer Robertson, Avery Johnson.
5.
I'm taking Jalen Daniels over him.
Jalen Daniels can't stay healthy.
I'm taking Brendan Sorsby over him.
Sorsby I'm with, but I'm not really with Jalen Daniels right now.
Maybe he's 8.
He's around like Fafita.
I would have him. I'd rather have Morton over Fafita.
I can't get on the Jalen Daniels train, man.
You don't have to.
He doesn't play.
You don't have to get on that train. No one's
Baron
asking
Morton
you.
plays.
Yeah, no one's asking you to get on the train. I'm taking Devin Dampier maybe over him as an overall athlete. I mean, I haven't seen enough, I guess, from Dampier.
Yeah, the thing is, Baron Morton, you want to say he's a product of the offense all you want. I'm not necessarily going to disagree with you, but he played Big 12 football last year. He played Power 4 football last year. Devin Dampier did not do that. Like, Devin Dampier was not playing the same type of competition, right? And Texas,
no, but he was balling out.
No, but so was Texas Tech's offense, right? And I know that he threw a lot, and I know that he had a lot of opportunity to do so, but he still did it.
Yeah, 466 pass attempts is crazy.
Which is crazy. Crazy.
Especially when you consider that Taj Brooks was in that offense.
Yeah, he basically doubled the amount of yards that he had the year prior.
Yeah. How many attempts did he have the year prior?
293 the year before, so... He had about 180. He had about 180 less attempts and doubled his yards, or more attempts, and he doubled his yards.
They just were airing it.
27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, like he was good. He was good. He's good for what they have. Like they don't have a question mark at quarterback. They have a really good offense. They spent a lot of money on their defense. ASU Texas Tech. What is that week?
I don't know. Shane just played it in his
Texas
dynasty,
Tech ASU
right?
is like week what? Like 8, 9? Yeah, that is going to be...
Could be a game day game.
I mean, yeah, it could be a game day game, and I think that's going to be like... If ASU beats Baylor in the first game of Big 12 play, beats TCU after that, and is undefeated, I think Texas Tech is the 3rd Big 12 game. So week 6 then? If they do that...
7.
Week 7?
Or 8, because they have a bye.
They have a bye? Okay, they're week 8. If they're undefeated going into Tech and they take care of business against Tech, let's say rather convincingly at home, like that's ASU saying we are the absolute undoubted like number one contenders.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, especially because Tech beat them last year.
Yeah.
I will say that front 7 in College Bowl 26 is a nightmare.
Yeah, I bet. I absolutely
bet.
But
what they don't get right in College Bowl 26 is how important the power of friendship is. Yes. And all of those guys just love money and not their teammates.
I mean, why else would you go to Lubbock?
Yeah.
Literally.
Bro, Jalen will never admit it. Come on. They ain't got golf out there. You see what he's doing now in Miami?
Yeah. Is there any better upgrade going from Lubbock to
buy
Miami?
his driver from him.
I messaged him the other day and I said, "You said what?"
He posted his driver.
That
he was selling.
He's selling it.
Selling a driver. Yeah.
Jalen, you don't need any more money.
Yeah. That's what I was like, dude. You're gonna. What are we talking about?
I messaged him after he posted like the 8th golf course in a row in Florida. And I go, you must be having high. He goes, brother.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Daywalker 3Z in the chat saying that's the Texas way, slinging around. B saying they're gonna have to show me. I mean, they've always had an aerial attack kind of offense, right? You go Patrick Mahomes, Nick Shimonik. He balled out for a year at Texas Tech, and now you have a guy
running back this year.
Baron Morton, Quentin Joyner, who we just discussed on the transfer portal list from USC.
No, I meant sorry. Yeah, I thought they had somebody that they retained.
Another guy. I think they did retain one of their other running backs.
Jacoby Williams.
It could be.
Yeah,
could be. I'm not familiar with the entirety of the Texas Tech running back room, so that's,
come on, dude.
That's my flaw. It's my flaw, guys. Which team of the 3 that we've discussed so far in Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Clemson do you think maybe deserve to be higher on this list?
Well, it's tough. If you ask me who the best team out of those three would be, it's Clemson, but they also did the least, right?
But I guess it depends on how much you value the retention part, right?
But that's the thing is like Texas Tech added the most pieces, even the ones that like we didn't put on that graphic. They added the most pieces, right? But if you're talking about who added the most key positional players on offense, is in like Mateer and your quarterback and running back. So I think all three of them have very unique cases. As far as winning the offseason goes, I would probably have to put Tech at 3, which is where they are, like 3, 4, 5. I think Clemson and Oklahoma is interesting. It's retention versus additions. But Tech on paper, and this is on paper, like this is the offseason conversation, right? Yeah. They are going to have to show
offseason champs. Who won the offseason championship?
They're going to have to show all of us going forward. But at the same time,
just us, actually. They only need to show us.
Only us. Yeah. Everybody in college football plays to impress PHNX Sun Devils.
I mean, I'm glad we're on the same page about that.
Come on. But for Texas Tech, well, we all know that a month and a half from now, they're going to have to go in there and play like they just spent that amount of money. Talking about it on July 21st and just solely talking about the offseason, it's hard not to say that Texas Tech has done better than those three. And I think anybody from 3 to 1 has a conversation for 1.
Yeah.
Honestly. And if you look at the pure money and if you say, well, who added the most talent on paper this offseason? It has to be Texas Tech.
Yeah.
But as far as retaining and how good you were beforehand and how good of a team you're going to be after that, like we'll see. They have a new OC as well. They had a Texas State guy.
The Texas State OC. Where did Texas Tech's OC go? Do we know? Off the top of your head? No.
I know they got Mac Leftwich.
They got Mac Leftwich. Are you
from Texas State?
He became the head coach of Florida Atlantic, Zach Kitley.
Oh, he became the
Florida Atlantic head coach and Mac Leftwich.
I'm interested to see then what that offense looks like.
Yeah.
Because you got Morton probably learning a new offense then at this point.
Yeah, he was at Texas State as the OC.
But Texas State's offense was kind of fun.
Well, no, Texas State was fun last year. So he went from Texas State to Texas Tech, so new OC.
But again, how are we not talking about this? That a new offense, brother, that was the biggest thing that propelled this team to be exciting last year.
It was the
and
offense.
Now you're changed. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know how much influence. I'm not in Lubbock, thank God.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure we all.
Yeah, I wake up every morning and pray to whatever God I pray to that day. That I'm not in Lubbock,
thank God
Texas.
You didn't wake up in Lubbock.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great country.
But
I woke up in Lubbock is definitely a country song.
No, it's a horror movie. It's Ari Aster's 4th film. Everyone, because it's everybody's nightmare. But no, in all seriousness, like I don't know how much, I'm not in Lubbock, so I'm not sure how much that offense is because of it is instilled from their head coach, or is just there, is their passing game coordinator, whatever. But if they are changing their offense, that's a damning thing. Like that's hard to just get around when you had such a successful thing last year.
Sure,
bringing in all the new pieces plus that. My Texas Tech hate is just through the roof.
And that's fair. I mean, but as far as Leftwich goes at Texas State, incredibly successful. His quarterback set records for passing yards, completion percentage 2 years in a row with TJ Finley and then Jordyn McLeod. Like he had a really good offense there. Like
they set national records or they set conference records?
School records.
Yeah, I don't care about Texas State records.
Still. But like, you had Ishmael Mahdi, who led the FBS with 2,169 all-purpose yards.
Not last year, the year prior.
In 2023, when this guy was still the offensive coordinator. Like, he's good. Now, is he good enough to continue what was going on in Texas State before? Texas Tech before? I think it's a fine question mark. But, you don't make the jump from Texas State to Texas Tech, up at those conferences if you don't have a resume.
Kind of surprises me that Leftwich goes from Texas State to Texas Tech and then Ishmael Mahdi goes from Texas State to Arizona instead of Tech, especially when there was a need at running back.
Yeah, especially when they lost. Taj Brooks.
Interesting. Again, I like Quentin Joyner. It's going to be an interesting addition.
I don't know if he's going to be Taj Brooks though.
No, I mean Taj Brooks was a beast.
Which is like again, like Barron Morton can be the same, right? And
your backfield's not going to be.
But you're not going to have, I mean, what Taj Brooks was the best player in their offense last year.
Yes.
And they lost the best player in their offense. And they replaced it with somebody who's like 63 carries, 478 yards. But guess what?
You're just having the Arizona
touchdowns.
State argument with yourself because that's what people are saying.
Yeah, no,
but
you're not replacing it with a guy who had 1,000 yards at a college level the year before.
No.
Right? Like, and that's the thing is, yeah, you're having the Arizona State conversation for sure, but I don't think they have as good of a quarterback, right? They are not retaining the same offensive coordinator. Kyson Brown had a worse season than Quentin Joyner last year, who had 7.6 yards per carry. Kyson only had 4.8 for 351 yards on 73 carries. Joyner had 478 yards on 63 carries. So if you want to compare those two, okay, you can give the edge to Quentin Joyner, who's still switching systems, right? Yeah. And was not playing behind Cam Scatterboo last year. And then your running back one is that guy. I mean, maybe Kyson Brown's running back one.
Maybe
he's running back two. Maybe he's running back three. Yeah. Right? Like I don't think he's three, but Kanye Udo's coming in and has had more production than any of the running backs that we've talked about today last season. So, I think that when you look and compare those two, Arizona State has a better returning quarterback, has a returning offensive coordinator, brought in a better transfer running back on paper, has a better retained running back. If Jacoby Williams is still with Texas Tech, he only had 236 yards on 41 carries, 5.8 yards per carry. Like, Arizona State has a better returning wide receiver as well. Like, Arizona State still has the edge in that conversation for sure if you want to compare the two. I don't think that means Texas Tech's going to be bad. I think Texas Tech's going to be good. Are they going to be 55 points good? I don't know. But I think their defense will be better. And that was a big point for them. That
was the worst part last year.
They needed to stop somebody. So maybe they take a step back a little bit offensively for scheme or maybe due to personnel and losing Taj Brooks. But you step up and your defense goes from like Swiss cheese to passable at least. Like, you're winning more games than you did last year. In theory,
that's how that should work. Well, look, Oklahoma came in at number 5, Clemson at 4, Texas Tech at 3. Let us know in the chat, who do you guys think is coming in at number 2 and number 1 on our list of
Arizona football
college football teams that had the best offseason in 2025? We'll give you the number 2 team on our list on the other side of this quick break. I teased it all last week that I was going to be enjoying UFC with some pure edibles, and I'll tell you what, that Holloway-Poirier fight did not disappoint, and neither did those pure edibles. I love sitting back, having stuff that tastes like candy, and that's exactly what Pure Edibles is all about. They offer gummies, kicks, which are their version of Starburst, chews, soft candies like caramel, and hard candies. The kicks are my personal favorite. What do you think, Rubus? You like yourself some edibles that taste like Starburst?
Come on.
I mean, who doesn't?
Come
right?
on.
Like, what are we talking about? Look, another really, really awesome part about Pure Edibles is that they clearly list the effects on each tin, so you know exactly what effects you guys can expect. Lately, I've been having some trouble sleeping, so trying the sleep support gummies, and I can sleep all the way through the night, which is absolutely awesome. And then, of course, for the UFC fight, well, that's when I had the uplifting ones. And I'll tell you, the entire card, I felt uplifted by Pure Edibles. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Well, I could sleep like a baby, and I'm uplifted because I know that my banking needs are met with Desert Financial Credit Union. And that's not just an ad read, that's a personal testimony because I've been using Desert Financial Credit Union for as long as I've had money.
Wow.
That's right.
It's a long time.
That's a long time. Since high school, last month. I have been using Desert Financial Credit Union. Look, you can start off with the basics like I did in high school. Checkings accounts, savings accounts. But then life gets more complicated as you get older.
So does money.
More money. And mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. You can walk into a Desert Financial Credit Union, and the lovely staff will talk you through anything that you need. And the best part is they put their money where their mouth is. Of course, they're dedicated to the community, and they'll show you this by giving you $200 for opening up a free checking
200
account
bones
online. Here's $200.
I'll take it.
Who does that? Desert Financial Credit Union does that. When you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
EJ Noel in the chat saying, happy Monday, boys. Let's have a great week. Been loving listening on Spotify while I run. Wow, we're
you got this.
Yeah,
you got
keep
this.
going.
Well, I guess he's in the chat right now.
Well, yeah, but for when he runs later.
Well, if anybody else is running,
can we get like 30 seconds of motivational run?
Yeah. Okay. If you're running,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Like,
I need it.
Randomly, in 5 seconds out of a random episode, just be like, "Hey, keep going."
You got this.
Keep going.
Don't stop.
You got this.
Don't walk.
Stop.
Don't walk. Walking's for the weak. Pain is weakness leaving the body. You look forward and you keep running.
Wow.
One foot in front of the other.
He's right behind you.
Keep going.
Go, run!
Go!
Run!
Go!
Oh my goodness. Like, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I feel sorry for anybody that was currently listening to that specific part while in like a drive-through while they were like maybe picking up a coffee or something.
Like that. Go!
Yeah.
Run!
That's
They're
tough.
behind you!
That's tough. Look, before we get into the number 2 team on our list, want to remind everybody that now is the perfect time to become a PHNX diehard. Head to go PHNX.com, click a little diehard tab, and I'll tell you why, Rubus. It's because there is an Arizona State football game next month, which means that Arizona State's fall camp and Camp Tantazona, they're literally right around the corner. We are just about, maybe a couple weeks away from the first practice getting going.
Wow.
And we'll obviously have stuff on all the daily shows, but that diehard Discord is popping every single day leading up to the first game of the year, and then it just goes like full steam ahead, and it's a lot of fun. Not to mention, like, even if you're beyond an Arizona State fan and maybe you're a Suns fan, maybe you are a Cardinals fan, maybe you're a Diamondbacks fan, well, there are channels in all of our diehard Discord for you guys to truly indulge in all of the Valley sports conversations. And you get a free t-shirt or hat every year.
I did an AMA yesterday.
AMA.
And Ask Me Anything. I just went live in the Discord on a Sunday morning at like 11:30 and did a little AMA. We talked some ASU football, talked a lot of ASU, talked a lot of Suns, talked a little Cardinals, little D-backs, little sports business, everything like that.
Really? You a big sports business guy?
Yeah. Well, they were just asking me about, my time at other companies and stuff like that and all that. So like if you want, to get the inside scoop, and I guess we're burying the lead as well, like game days are just
I don't know what this burying the lead is.
That's fair. Game days are just insane.
They're electric.
In the Discord. They're so much fun. We're there. We're at all the home games. We're on the field. I'm sending you pictures and videos of people warming up, stuff that we're not posted on Twitter because you're special. If you're a diehard. If you're not,
you're not special.
Work on it.
Yeah. Work on being more special.
Yeah.
How do you be special, Ruby?
Become a diehard.
You know how you become special? Don't stop running.
Yeah. Don't stop.
Keep going. Don't give up. Don't stop, guys.
That needs to be a bit. That 100% needs to be a bit.
Coming in at number 2 on our list of college teams that had the best offseason in 2025, it is your Arizona State Sun Devils.
Whoop, whoop.
Look, didn't add a ton of monster pieces from the transfer portal, but again, retention was a big part of like what went into these rankings in this list. And I'm not sure there's a team out there that had a better offseason of retaining players than Arizona State.
And retaining coaches.
Yeah.
If we want to get real about it.
Keeping Sam Leavitt, a Heisman contender quarterback, keeping Jordyn Tyson at wide receiver. This team's number 1 wideout from last year who could have very easily gone to another team in the SEC or Big Ten. He is probably at this point projected to be a top 10 pick in next year's NFL draft. Xavier Alford and CJ Fight on the defensive side of the ball. 2 just monster pieces for ASU. And those are just 4 of the many, many names that opted to return for another season in Tempe. And then you look at the pieces that Kenny and company added in the transfer portal. Very, very interesting names. Kanye Udo added to the backfield. He had over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns at Army a season ago. Jalen Moss at wideout for Fresno State. Last couple of years, he's been a really, really big-time wide receiver there. And then maybe the best addition for this team is Jesus Gomez out of Eastern Michigan.
Maybe the most important.
Yeah, literally.
Which is funny because we're talking about a 1,000-yard rusher from Army and Kanye Udo, and we're like, it's the kicker.
I mean, Jesus Gomez, this team last year did not have a good kicking game whatsoever. I believe the second worst field goal percentage in the country, and now you add a guy who's got one hell of a leg. And
would they have lost a regular season game if they had Jesus Gomez?
They would have probably still lost the Cincinnati game.
Would they?
Yeah.
Would they? How much? That was the game that Kenny sat down afterwards. It was like, we're having open tryouts because we can't kick a damn ball.
That was also like they were kicking field goals at a certain point to just like cut the lead. Cincinnati had the lead the entire time.
I think you beat Tech if you had a kicker.
Well, let's see. We can
think
do it.
Think about how different the dynamic would be if you had a kicker.
Let's literally go.
Who could actually hit a damn field goal.
Let's literally go. Like if ASU made all of the field goals that they missed in those respective games.
But you also think about the times that they didn't even kick a field goal and went for it on 4th and short and missed it because they weren't comfortable kicking a field goal. Like that changes the dynamic of how you play.
I'm not saying that it doesn't change the dynamic.
I'm saying this would be undefeated.
They lost by 8 points to Tech. And they attempted, let's see how many field goals ASU attempted in that game. I'm not sure. Let's see. They attempted 1 field goal and made it. So that doesn't make a difference in that game. Not when you lose by 8 points. So they still lose that one game. The Cincinnati game. If we're just going based off of they make the kicks.
Okay, but
they lost by 10.
But we watched this team.
We did watch this team.
We know that they called
They also didn't have their starting quarterback in that game.
Because they didn't have their starting quarterback, and they didn't have a damn kicker.
Well, no, but you have to remember, when they started to storm back, all the momentum was thwarted by that missed 30-yard or whatever field goal.
Yeah.
He missed 2 field goals that game. They didn't make a field goal, so if he makes it 2, then they still lose by 4.
I still think it's disingenuous to just go off of the field goals attempted when they literally
but you can't attempt. That's
field
the
goals
only way that you could go about it. We're not going to sit here and do hypothetically.
I don't think that's the only way you could go about it.
If ASU gets, if they have a kicker, they win.
I think okay. Maybe it's not they automatically win, but I also don't think
Bigelow says they would have beaten Tech. Which is a great name, by the way.
Yeah, Deuce Bigelow is a great
name. Deuce Bigelow, you play offensive guard at Louisiana Tech.
No, definitely at Cincinnati along with Dante Corleone.
Yeah, well,
Deuce Bigelow and Dante Corleone.
Those are bouncers at a club. Those are some great names.
No, I think that the way that those games were called and them, it's 4th and short in field goal range and you don't have a kicker, you're not taking 3 easy points and you go for it, you miss it. It's like you didn't attempt a field goal, so you didn't technically miss a field goal, but you gave up however many points or momentum or field position, and who knows how Texas Tech takes advantage of that. Maybe it's not an automatic win, but I don't think you can just look at, they only attempted 1 field goal and they made it, so they wouldn't have beat Tech. The way that you call the game is different. The way that you play offense is different when you have a competent kicker who can hit from 30, let alone 40, which ASU didn't have either of those. Right. So I think with Jesus, he makes a huge difference, especially in all these close games. Everybody wants to give Arizona State crap for winning close games or whatever it is. And that's unsustainable. Well, now they have a kicker that's going to help pad the lead a little bit. You're going to be able to play a little bit safer. But beyond Jesus Gomez, right? Because sure, we like Jesus Gomez. He might be the most important addition considering how bad the position was before. Kanye Udoh rushed for 1,000 yards. Jalen Moss, you look at the stats. He's not a 1,000-yard receiver out of Fresno State. But you go and you watch the tape and you're like, this might be the perfect number 2 to pair alongside.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Jordyn Tyson.
He's an absolute dog.
And then there are other names here, like Arizona State only is not returning 1 starter on defense. And that's due to them going to the NFL, and somebody who's been in the system for 3 years is stepping into that, right? You lose Lee Fautanu at center, but you're moving over Ben Coleman to center, who's an all-conference selection.
Your most experienced offensive line.
And you're bringing Jalen Clem back after not playing last season, who was the last time that he was on the field a part of the best offensive line in football, an offensive line that played in the national championship.
Yeah.
Right? You have an impact freshman in AJ Ia who we expect to play. Cam Dyer's out, right? So you can't really bank on him this year. I'm not exactly sure if Corey Butler Jr. is going to get any run in a crowded wide receiver room. I think he'll probably redshirt.
More of a special teams guy. He's quick, dude.
He's fast.
Quick. He had a really nice spring, to be honest with you. I was kind of surprised at how nice of a spring that he had.
Yeah. So I really do think that at the end of the day, people are going to look at Arizona State too. They're going to say Glaze or whatever it is, or your PHNX Sun Devils, whatever. Right?
Is that what they say?
That's a lot. That's a lot of the times what they say.
People tell you you're glazing a lot.
Yes. Yeah. They filled positions of need. They retain a majority of their dominant defense. They have maybe the best quarterback in college football. Yeah. Somebody who's at least in the conversation. They have the top wide receiver in this NFL draft, and somebody who maybe you don't put him above Jeremiah Smith. Maybe you don't put him above Ryan Williams, but I think belongs in that conversation.
Agreed.
And is going to be in the conversation for Biletnikoff, right? And yes, you lost Cam Scatterbo, but you replaced your big player that you lost with the most proven player that we've talked about replacing with so far in these returners.
And again, the retention is huge, right?
And the coaches, you kept your head coach, you kept all your coordinators, you kept all of your assistant coaches below the coordinators as well. You have the same running backs coach, you have the same wide receivers coach, you have the same offensive line coach, right? You have all of this continuity and consistency for a team that was dominant and in the college football playoffs last year. I think they definitely deserve to be in the top 5. I think top 2 is fair. I think when we talk about number 1, we'll say how close of a conversation that might be. But there are still people who doubt this team. And to that, I say, I welcome that.
Well, look, everybody's got their opinions when it comes to this type of stuff, right? But I think, again, the retention of Sam and Jordyn was huge. Not to mention 10 of those 11 starters on defense are coming back. They added they didn't go super portal heavy like they've gone in the past. It was very particular with the types of players that they went and added and at those positions. And I think they did a really good job of reloading at a lot of positions.
Number one JUCO edge rusher,
yeah, Joshua
Shanklin.
Shanklin. Like it's been a really solid offseason for Arizona State, and I think if we were truly sitting here glazing Arizona State, we would have had them number one point blank period. But that's
and
not
number one.
where
We have Arizona
them,
State
right?
as well,
like,
number one and number two.
Just to recap, we had Oklahoma come in at number 5 on our list again, adding John Mateer, Jay Knott, Marvin Jones Jr., retaining Troy Everett, Deion Burks, and adding some big 2025 recruits. And number 4 on our list, we had Dabo Sweeney's Clemson Tigers. Again, you talk about retention. Cade Klubnik, TJ Parker, Peter Woods, some big names. Didn't go too heavy in the portal. Jeremiah Alexander from Bama, Will Helt from Purdue. That front 7 is going to be scary now and in the future with some guys that they added in that class of 2025 as well. At number 3 on the list, we went to the Big 12, and that's where you saw the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Nobody spent more on their transfer portal class than these guys right here, and it shows Quentin Joyner, David Bailey, Cash Cleveland, just some of the names on that list, but they also retained some key guys as well, and quarterback Baron Morton, Coy Eakin, Ben Roberts, the list goes on and on. And we just finished talking about the number 2 team on our list, your Arizona State Sun Devils. Nobody retained better talent in my mind than Sam Leavitt, Jordan Tyson, Xavier Alford, CJ Fight. The list goes on and on. We just talked about Kanye Udo, Jalen Moss, Jesus Gomez. AJE is going to be a fun watch as well from that
absolutely
recruiting class. And then coming in at number 1 on our list, it is Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers.
You're on the Nuss bus, brother.
Garrett Nussmeier is a big reason why this team is number 1 on this list. Again, a quarterback that I think is going to have a really solid season. I'm not necessarily as high on him as some other folks, but being able to keep a quarterback in the SEC, I think, is something that is really important.
He's good enough.
He is. He's absolutely good enough. He's a top 10 quarterback in college football. I think that's pretty clear. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Harold Perkins Jr., he is somebody at the linebacker position that, again, when he is healthy, he is a fun player. 6'1", 225 pounds. I believe he had an injury last season, so only 16 total tackles. But the year prior, 74 total tackles, 5.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and an INT. The year before that, 72 total tackles, 7.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and an INT. He is all over the field on that defense. And then it's where some of the bigger portal additions come into play. I know a lot of people want to talk about Tech. If you go by 24/7 Sports, LSU had the number 1 transfer portal class in the country. Mm-hmm. Nick Anderson, a wideout from OU. He is now in Baton Rouge. Jakeem Jackson, a corner from Florida. He is there. And then Patrick Payton coming off the edge from Florida State. Erik, those are just some of the big-time additions for Brian Kelly's squad.
Nick Anderson is fascinating.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, I think he puts himself in a conversation. I'm not talking Biletnikoff, but I think he's going to
top 10 wide receiver.
I think he's one of the best wide receivers in college football. Healthy with LSU's talent around him at wide receiver. What number is he wearing?
Nick Anderson, I think he's wearing 4.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, I didn't know if they gave him the number.
No.
But
there's no way they gave him the number. There's no shot.
I think his potential's through the roof. If he can stay healthy. Right? That's a huge if for Nick Anderson, but obviously missing last season. But when he played at Oklahoma, he's tall, he's fast, he has great hands, he's agile, he can make him miss, he can run right through you. He will probably be Garrett Nussmeier's favorite target if he stays healthy. The jump ball ability of him, like, and also
wideout.
Having the talent around him at wideout, having the SEC offensive line, having a quarterback that could have gone pro last year, and Garrett Nussmeier throwing him the ball. This might be, if he stays healthy, this might be like a Nick Anderson season. Like, you are seeing a Nick Anderson highlight every weekend, and you're like, oh my God, that guy is good.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. And again, that's just some of the portal guys, right? Patrick Payton coming from Florida State. He's played 3 years of college football, and he had 5 sacks in 2022, 7 sacks in 2023, 4 sacks in 2024. Again, coming off a bad season for Florida State. I think Patrick Payton is going to be a fun guy to watch coming off the edge in Baton Rouge. And then, again, a big part of this is the guys that you're able to get to commit to your program for the future. We're talking about a real potential NFL corner one day in DJ Pickett, 5-star kid, the number 5 corner, I believe from LSU potentially. Oh no, from Tampa, Florida. It's literally on the graphic.
You got it.
So he is a top 10 corner nationally.
The last name Pickett.
Yeah.
As a corner.
And get this, 6'4", 190 pounds, playing corner.
Yeah.
He is a tall, lengthy corner, potentially an NFL caliber guy. Again, a 5-star on that list. And then in the backfield, I know one of your favorite names, Harlem Berry.
Maybe the name we've talked about today.
Harlem
Berry? Or that's a pitcher for the Yankees in 1942. Harlem Berry is an all-time name.
And he's an all-time running back. He's the number 1 running back in the class of 2025.
How could you not be with the name Harlem Berry?
I mean, there are some good ones. Akdir is the Akdir.
No way.
Yeah. He's
Are you sure it's not AK?
It could be, but
AK Deer or Akdir? I think it's AK.
He's your new running back at Bama.
I think it's AK Deer.
I'm gonna go with Ak. Ak goes way harder.
I don't know. AK Deer goes pretty hard too, because AK shooting up the defense or something like that.
Yeah. And then Solomon Thomas, 4-star offensive lineman, offensive tackle more specifically, committing to LSU, 6'4", 325 pounds. Again, a 4-star.
Auckland. So he's Ak. Ak.
Ak Deer goes crazy.
Auckland Deer is like a brand that we're not allowed to say.
We're bad with names here on the PHNX Sun Devils show.
Harlem Berry.
Just to give a full recap here, Oklahoma coming in at number 5. You had the Clemson Tigers coming in at number 4. Texas Tech at number 3. Arizona State at number 2. And then the LSU Tigers coming in at number 1 on the teams that had the best offseason in college football. Let me know if we missed anybody, if you think that this list should be shuffled at all.
Where are the Memphis Tigers?
Where are the Memphis
future
Tigers?
Big 12
they're nowhere to be
participants.
found. They are nowhere to be found.
Why even try? There's no way that a school like Memphis is getting into the Big 12.
They were apparently going to pay like $200-something million. And
where did they get $200 million?
Big Daddy Yormark was like, nah, we're good.
That's the Kenny Dillingham effect.
Yeah, that's the Kenny Dillingham
effect. He's like,
now
they have $200 million. Could you imagine somebody approaching you with $200 million and for whatever reason you say no?
Cade asking the perfect question to get out of here on. If you and I were insects, what would we be?
Yeah, this is a Shane question. Is there a loud insect, like a cricket? Well, I guess crickets can be.
You're a cicada.
Oh, that's a good call.
Hold on, Seth has just completely ruined this microphone.
You can follow the show.
You got it, Seth.
Keep running.
Mute me, Seth.
Lift the chair.
Keep running. Don't stop running.
Lift the chair.
Don't stop running.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Everything you want's on the other side of hard.
The sweat is worth it.
The sweat's
pain
worth
is worth it.
Wow, that's a
It
new
might
one.
be hot outside, but you're hot.
Take your shoes off and just run barefoot.
Yeah. Stomp on some rocks.
Okay, we're good back here.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Ruby, I feel like you're like a hybrid stick bug cicada.
Okay, I'm a stick bug cicada.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's actually kind of sick.
I just gotta say, stick bug cicada sounds sick.
Yeah.
For sure.
Stickada.
Stickada.
Wow.
Totri, you're a beetle for sure.
A beetle.
You're a type of beetle.
Okay.
Like, what's the cutest beetle?
The cutest beetle.
Let me
You're
look it
a
up.
cute beetle.
Cute little beetle.
Cutest beetle.
Oh my gosh.
Aww.
All right. That's
You're a tortoise beetle.
I'm a tortoise beetle?
Oh, they're so cool.
I gotta know what they look like before we
They
get
kind of
out
look
here.
crazy.
Tortoise. You said they were cute.
Yeah, but they're not.
Tortoise beetle.
Yeah, but they're not.
Oh no, Totri, you're a ladybug.
Ladybug.
I'm a ladybug.
Yeah.
Totri.
I love. Okay, I like
The
ladybugs.
blind mouse and
Okay.
the ladybug.
What am I?
Praying mantis.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
good.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That,
definitely.
wow, that's sick.
Yeah,
That might be
that's
the
good.
nicest thing you've ever said to me.
That might be the nicest.
Love you guys. Also, love everybody here listening on audio and
You ever seen those
watching
things fight?
live? Huh?
You ever seen them fight?
Yeah, they're
They
scary.
go nuts.
They're scary.
Like in
That's
Kung Fu
you.
Panda.
There's
That's
a guy that uploads videos of insects fighting.
I thought
Definitely,
we were getting out of here. We're not.
it's definitely illegal, but
To
insects,
fight insects?
yeah,
That's not illegal.
has to be.
There's no way.
Insects are
Nobody
animals.
cares about insects that much.
Glenn called you a dung beetle.
Who?
That's just rude.
Wow.
Dude, if we weren't streaming on Fast right now, I'd say the F word.
Wow.
Okay, guys, that is going to do it now.
What
Say
the
the F word.
Sun
Follow the
Devils
show.
If you enjoyed today's content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow my glazed donut here at Erik Ruby.
I don't like that
That
one.
is Erik with a K. You can follow the Deli Man on social at Shane Deef.
Watching animals, they're animals. Watching animals fight as always, but we're
legally
making sure that it's legal. I'm not sure about that. Maybe not watching it. Being a praying mantis as always.
Yeah, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday. But in the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.